do our opinions and beliefs come from? How do we individually make sense of the world we live in? We like to think that we are able to make totally rational decisions and form rational beliefs in a completely objective way, but that's often not the case. Every day of our lives, we are exposed to stupendous amounts of information. This information is then stored in our subconscious mind, and our brain references it to make sense of the world we live in. The thing is, we are exposed to different experiences and information throughout our daily lives, so we each have different information stored in our mind. This is how two people can give different answers to the same question, because we are all seeing the same world, but through different lenses. Cognitive biases are systematic errors in thinking that are caused by us projecting experiences from our past into the present moment, because they seem to be a part of human nature, and they're hardwired into our brain. We all have these biases. In this series, we will explore 5 of the most common cognitive biases of the mind, and we'll close this series with a few different ways that we can defend ourselves against them. If you enjoy the video, please consider subscribing to our channel for the full experience. It helps us out tremendously, and we could really use your support. To hold on to an idea and prove to ourselves that we've arrived at it rationally, we search for evidence that supports our view. But in our search for evidence, we manage to find evidence that confirms what we want to believe. This is because we are looking for evidence that confirms what we want to believe. This is known as the confirmation bias, the human tendency to selectively gather evidence that confirms our existing beliefs. Let's look at an example. Karen is the owner of a local bakery that has experienced a continuous decline in sales over the last 6 months. Karen is a firm believer in hard work equals more success, so she assumes that the decline in sales is due to a slacking labor force. Karen makes the decision to extend the workday by 2 hours for each employee. But another 6 months down the line, the decline in revenue has worsened due to an increase in employee wage. A stunned Karen spends the next few weeks driving around town to see if other businesses in the area are struggling as well. They aren't. Karen swallows her pride and asks for advice from a coffee shop that is doing quite well, but laughs hysterically when the owner recommends closing the shop at noon on weekdays. Karen decides that hard work equals more success is still the most rational lens to view the situation through, so she spends the following months working 60-hour weeks, hiring additional staff, and decreasing the hourly pay of her employees to compensate for the increased workforce. Karen's bakers went bankrupt less than a year later. Karen's belief that working harder, not smarter, was the only way to succeed led to her own downfall. She mistakenly identified the lack of a workforce or hard work in general as the cause of her bakery's decline in sales, and because of this, she was blind to the true cause of the falling revenue, her shop's expenses. By hiring on additional staff and extending the workday, Karen literally put the nail in her own coffin. The fellow local business owner that offered Karen advice did not offer the advice she wanted to hear, so it was laughed off. Although it was the exact advice she needed to hear, it isn't what she wanted to hear. Karen is stuck in her own ways of thinking because she only allows herself to consider information that confirms her existing beliefs. If Karen hears anything that can test what she believes to be true, she skillfully takes it in one ear and sends it out the other. Karen's situation illustrates the epitome of the confirmation bias. If we only take in information that confirms what we already believe, not only are those beliefs never challenged, but they will never change. Our first impulse should be to seek out information that challenges our view, not confirms it.